Please do. It's 6:01. I'm calling the Planning and Zoning Commission meeting of January 2nd, 2025 to order. May we begin with roll call?
Yes, sir. Rolando Cáceres.
Present.
Cindy E. Cantu. Michael Barron. Fanny Narvaez.
Present.
Jean Ramirez.
Present.
Tina Portillo.
Present.
Daniela Sadapaz. Adolfo G. Martinez. Hector J. Garcia.
I am present.
For the record, you have quorum.
Thank you. Can I have a motion to excuse those commission members that aren't
So
present?
moved, Mr. Chair.
You have a motion?
Second.
And a second by Commissioner Portillo. All in favor?
Aye.
Against? Motion carries. Let's stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Moving on to election of officers.
Motion to table that to the next meeting when everybody's here.
Yeah.
So we have a motion by Commissioner Garcia, second by Commissioner Portillo. All in favor?
Aye.
Against? Motion carries. Moving on to consider approval of minutes of the regular meeting of December 19th, 2024.
So moved, Mr. Chair.
We have a motion? Second. Second by Commissioner Caceres. All in favor?
Aye.
Against? Motion carries. Do we have any general citizen comments?
No, yes, sir.
Mr. Chair, motion to open public hearing number 7A.
We have a motion. Second, Commissioner Caceres. All in favor?
Aye.
Against? Motion carries. Item 7A, amending the zoning ordinance map of the City of Laredo by rezoning approximately 1.59 acres as further described by meets and bounds and attached Exhibit A, located at 5601 Lago del Valle Drive, from R1A, Single Family Reduced Area District, to R1B, Single Family High Density District.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. For the record, we have Ms. Kate Land Development, Inc. as the owner and Juan Salinas as the representative. Property location is approximately 1.59 acres located at 5601 Lago del Valle Drive. Zone change request is from R1A to R1B. Proposed use is residential. Letter signed for 43. We have six against inside the 200 feet, and we have 33 against that are outside the 200 feet. Background, on October 17th, 2022, City Council made a motion to approve a PUD overlay. And on September 1st, 2022, the Planning and Zoning Commission recommended approval of the PUD overlay and staff supported the application. Location view, aerial view, street view, zone change signage, zoning map, future land use map, and the recommendation is staff supports, and the proposed motion.
Thank you. This is a public hearing. Anyone who wishes to speak in favor of this item?
Good evening, Mr. Chairman and Commissioners. My name is Juan Salinas, and I was here to speak in favor of the item. I know staff is in favor of it, but I wanted to address what I thought. We had a lot of opposition, seems like as far as the letters go. So I was wanting to see if I couldn't put this up on the board to kind of explain what I think happened there. We're zoning from an R1A to an R1B. However, the layout of the lots that we propose to put there, they exceed the R1A's minimum size of 4,500 square feet. We're R1B, but our average lot size is over 4,700 square feet. And if it says I get this up here.
He's going to put it up in a moment.
Okay, thanks. And I think the reason we had so much opposition was that initially we got a PUD approved for this area, a PUD overlay for 24 townhome units. And they were like duplex style units, so each building was supposed to look like a single family home. Oh, there it is. And But what ended up happening was, we couldn't build them as duplexes, and we were supposed to, or at least they were requiring the builder to, connect them all together. So we didn't think it was appropriate for the neighborhood anymore, because it was gonna look like a string of townhomes as opposed to like more like a single-family, type deal. So what we're proposing to do was zone where we're going from, and this sign was already up, so I think what happened is all the neighbors probably see the sign, and they see that we're going in with the zone change, and they're thinking we're going from an R1A to the townhomes. We're actually going from the townhomes, which we already have approved. We're moving down to 15 single-family homes in the area. So it goes from the townhome to, but I think the residents might have been, you know, they might have seen the sign and kind of assumed that that's what it was for, but we're actually down zoning technically.
Are there any questions for Mr. Salinas?
Thank you.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
This is a public hearing. Anyone who wishes to speak against this item?
Motion to close the public hearing and recommend staff approval subject to staff comments.
Second.
We have a motion and a second by Commissioner Garcia. All in favor?
Aye.
Against? Motion carries.
Motion to open public hearing 7B.
We have a motion.
Second.
Second by Commissioner Portillo. All in favor?
Aye.
Against? Motion carries. Item 7B, amending the zoning ordinance map of the city of Laredo by rezoning approximately 3.8 acres located east of Bob Bullock Loop and south of Date Palm Drive from R1 Single Family Residential District to R2 Multifamily Residential District.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. The applicant is Charco Land Sales LLC as the owner, Radcliffe Killam as the applicant, and Orlando Navarro as the representative. The property location, approximately 3.8 acres, located east of Bob Bullock Loop and south of Date Palm Drive. The zone change request is from an R1 to an R2. The proposed use is for apartments. The letter sent 35, inside 200 feet, 40, against 17, outside 200 feet is against 187. Location view, aerial map, street view, zone change signage, zoning overview, future land use, staff recommendations, staff supports the proposed zone change. Proposed motion.
Thank you. This is a public hearing. Anyone who wishes to speak in favor of this item?
Oh, in favor, like,
Of the zone change. In favor?
There he is.
Good evening, Mr. Chairman and Commissioners. My name is Orlando Navarro, for the record, representing this project. So what we have here is, there's a little bit of history. This is the Coves development that we're doing. There was an annexation that had happened for this property, and there was a second annexation to bring in this portion of land. The first portion of land has an R2 zone currently, and this is an extra piece of property that we're trying to square up the property and then have it zoned completely R2 for a future sale of the land. I don't know if there's any questions.
Mr. Chair, can we see the original annexation that you say is already R2?
I don't know if they have the full annexation, but I can point out.
Or just put?
Is it south of it, right below it?
If you can see it.
So if you see the orange is the zone property. We're currently building Clear Choice Drive in, and so you'll see that the striped area, and it should be actually out of that easement. There's an easement there, so it's kind of looking like it's in the easement, but it's not supposed to be there. And then the property runs east. So you could see we're taking that little piece, we're just trying to make it R2 so that portion is all just R2. Yes, just cleaning it up.
As far as access from that property is the only access throughout Clear, is going to be out going out through Clear Choice?
Clear Choice, we have a future road that Clear Choice will connect to. They'll be able to head south to Shiloh and come out on Shiloh, or actually go further south and come out at Delmar Boulevard. It also gives them, it'll give them access to the elementary school that's there and the ninth grade campus.
Mr. Chairman, there's no access from the adjacent developer, San Isidro, or the adjacent development, which is, I think, Palmares, or what is it?
It's, I believe that's the Rodriguez, not Rodriguez, Sertuche, correct?
But those are two separate developments, two separate developers. You guys are not involved in that side.
That's correct. The residential that you see towards the top, that's San Isidro Group that did that. And then the white area to the right, that's another landowner, and then we're the bottom portion.
Are there any other questions for Commissioner Navarro?
Yes, so would it connect to Date Palm in any way?
No.
The Date Palm Drive?
No, it will not.
Do we know, what people are saying? Why are so many people against this?
I don't,
From staff, do we know?
Just reading off a few of them. Says, this will directly negatively impact my home and neighbors, will bring down my property value, noise levels and traffic. This is too close to neighborhood homes. Apartments, we purchased our home in a north side neighborhoods. They're going to take away our privacy, not to mention decrease in property values. I don't want apartment complexes in my neighborhood. Property value will go down, neighborhood is cramped, home value is decreased, noise, traffic congestion. So that's
Okay.
sort of,
And do we have a way to mitigate the privacy concerns?
privacy. Currently, the north side, the north of his tract, that's all zoned R1, right? The height allowance in the R1 is 35 feet. The height allowance in the R2 is 50 feet. So for every 2 feet that they propose to build over the 35 foot, the setback would have to increase by a foot. So currently, if they chose to build the highest possible, which would be the 50 feet, their setback would go from 6 feet to 14 feet. And that would include the easement that's already,
I was gonna say, I think there's an easement between.
there is an
Yeah,
easement
there's-
there.
Plus the easement.
Plus, no, including the
Including-
easement. So the easement would lay inside the building setback.
But if I'm, Mr. Chairman,
Yes.
if I'm not mistaken, the easement, because it's a gas line, easement has a building setback already because the,
The easement would lay inside the building setback. So if it were a regular, like let's say it would remain R1 and they had the 10-foot easement with a 6-foot setback, then you would have the 10-foot would govern, right? As the setback. Because normally the building setback would be 6. So the 10-foot lays inside the 14-foot that would be required.
What kind of easement is that, Mr. Navarro, on? of
gas,
what-
gas.
It's a
easement
gas
is what
one.
I'm told.
Yeah, it's probably 30 foot. You can't build it on top of a 30-foot easement anyways, but it's a gas line.
Not to speak for the builder, but there is an ordinance, as she stated, that adjusts for the height and it shifts the building away from the residential, but that's at the building department stage. I'm not here to represent the builder, so.
And is there anything around walls, like walls that the developer would have to?
Well,
put
the code does require that opaque walls be built between commercial and residential. However, this would technically still be a residential
Yeah.
development. So
just the setback is really
this
what would
it
take
would
care
be
of,
the biggest factor.
okay.
Thank you. This is a public hearing. Anyone who wishes to speak against this item, against the zone change?
Hello, everybody.
Hello.
I just
You
wanted
can
to
just state
come-
your name for the record, please.
Oh, my name is Sammy. Where's the mic? Okay. I just wanted to make sure that the people in my neighborhood's vote is counted for. I wanted to make sure that they had somebody here that was trying to help them. There was a lot of people busy trying to make ends meet and don't always get to participate in these things. So I'm glad we actually saw the letter and are here to participate. And I just want to add on to some of the reasons other people were mentioning schools. Schools are already overcrowded in the area, and to bring more population into the area by packing them into apartments could also cause some problem with the schools and stuff like that. So a lot of the parents were concerned about. But my whole purpose for being here is just to make sure that I ask you guys to consider the vote of the people, what they were wishing for. And that's all. Thank you.
Excuse me, can we have your last
Yes.
name? I'm sorry.
That's okay. Yeah, if you can just state your last name. please.
Maya, sorry.
Thank you.
Sammy Maya.
Thank you. This is a public hearing. Anyone else who wishes to speak against?
Good evening, everyone. My name is Rosie Maya, and I was actually one of the, it's my husband and I, we live literally right there where we're one out of the 20-something people that was sent mail to about the apartments being built. And I keep stating apartments because that's what was quoted when I received the letter. So I know that because, I guess by law, only the people that were 300 feet away would get the mail. So I took it upon myself to go and hand out flyers. I probably passed out like 378 flyers around the neighborhood. Got to talk to a lot of my neighbors. And I'm glad that you guys brought up the traffic, that maybe there might not be traffic. However, crime can still increase, our property values could still decrease, and our privacy as well. The ones that are directly going to be affected that are in Dade Palm, which I am one of. So yes, I'm against this. I don't see why, like, single-family residents can't be built in this area, but apartment complexes, there's so much land here in Laredo, I don't see why you would be building apartment complexes so close to a neighborhood that's already established like that. Besides, like, maybe taking advantage of homeowners' equity to the detriment of the actual neighbors in the neighborhood. So, I hope you guys consider that. Thank you.
Thank you. I believe we've heard two people speak. If there's anybody else who wishes to speak for or against, I think we can possibly open for discussion and close public hearing. Are there any questions for staff or comments?
My motion is to close and go with the recommendation of staff.
We have a motion by Commissioner Garcia,
Second.
second by Commissioner Bernardes. All in favor?
Aye.
Against? Motion carries.
Motion to open public hearing 8A.
Got a motion to open up public hearing consideration of following preliminary replat. A, we have a motion. Got a second? Second by Commissioner Caceres, all in favor? Aye. Against, motion carries. Item 8A is public hearing and preliminary consideration of the replat of Lot 22 and Lot 23, Block 9, D&J Alexander Subdivision, Unit 3, and Lot 24, Block 9, D&J Alexander Subdivision, Unit 6, into Lot 22A, Block 9, D&J Alexander Subdivision, Unit 3. The intent is to combine 3 single-family residential lots into 1 single-family residential lot.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Let me go ahead and get that. Okay. Applicant Ivan and Diana Mederos, engineer, Ramos Engineering. Proposed use residential, combined 3 single-family residential lots into 1 single-family residential lot. The zoning for this replat is R1, single-family residential district. Location view, aerial view, current plat and the proposed plat, and the staff comments. Proposed motion.
Thank you. This is a public hearing. Anyone who wishes to speak in favor of this item?
Good evening, Mr. Chairman, Commissioners, Happy New Year. Francisco Ramos, representing the landowners.
It's a plat, it's a replat, so they have, the property owners, they own 3 lots. They actually have their home built across almost all the 3 lots, so they want to combine them into one. It was originally going in for an admin plat, but the way the ordinances are written, R1s cannot go through the admin plat process, so we're going through, the one-stop shop process and with you guys. There's no improvements that are being proposed. They're keeping the current existing utilities, and nothing else is being proposed.
Okay. Thank you. This is a public hearing. Anyone who wishes to speak against this item?
Mr. Chairman, just a question for staff. Why not the admin process? I mean, just curious.
Under the ordinance, when you have a replat in R1, it does require a public hearing.
Okay. Outside of that, I mean,
Outside of that, it would, actually, if it had not been R1, we could have done the admin.
is staff worried about going through an admin process in the future? I mean, is that something that we could recommend to our council member and say, look, this, when you have issues like this, why can't the planning director at her discretion decide this fits an admin process?
Well, it's a requirement of the statute also.
Oh, it's a requirement under the statute?
Right.
More than
Yeah,
just
so we have it
ordinance.
integrated in our ordinance, but it's state law, so.
But it's state law. Okay. In that case,
I should have clarified.
Hey, she's not that good.
motion to close the public hearing and support the recommendation, subject to staff comments.
Second.
We have a motion and a second by Commissioner Portillo. All in favor?
Aye.
Against, motion carries. Moving on to consideration of the following preliminary plats and preliminary replats. Item 9A, preliminary consideration of the plat of Lot 12, Block 8, Alexander Commercial Subdivision, Phase 15. The intent is commercial.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. The applicant is Rodriguez Search and Development Engineer, Holland Engineering and Surveying Company, and the proposed use is residential. What is that one? Oh, yes, sorry. Proposed use is residential. The zoning for this 143 lot development is agricultural. Location view, aerial view, the proposed plat, staff comments, and the proposed motion.
Thank you. I think I read the wrong item, didn't I? Did I read the wrong?
I'm sorry?
I think I read 9B by mistake instead of 9A.
Oh my gosh, I can't hear you. I'm sorry, what?
I believe I read 9, right? I did?
I think so, because you said commercial
Yeah.
and I was,
Yeah, okay.
yes.
Correction. So it's already been read.
Okay.
So, is the engineer for item 9A?
Good evening, Dana Vital with Howland Engineering, and we concur with staff comments.
Are there any questions for the engineer? Thank you.
Thank you.
You can barely hear.
I'd like to motion and approve subject to the staff comments.
Second.
We have a motion, and a second, by Commissioner Bromatis, all in favor?
Aye.
Against, motion carries. Now, 9D, preliminary consideration of the plat of Lot 12, Block 8, Alexander Commercial Subdivision, Phase 15, intent is commercial. Yeah.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Overview. The applicant is D&J Alexander Commercial Investment, LLC. Engineer, Premier Engineering Surveying. The proposed use is commercial, and the zoning for this one-lot development is a B3 Community Business District. Location view. Aerial view. The proposed plat. Staff comments. And the proposed motion.
Thank you.
Good evening, Mr. Chairman, members of the commission, staff. For the record, Sergio Narvaez with Premier Engineering. We concur with the comments provided, and we are here to see if you have any questions for us.
Are there any questions for the engineer? Thank you.
Thank you.
Motion to approve, subject to staff comments.
Second.
We have a motion and a second by Commissioner Portillo. All in favor?
Aye.
Against, motion carries. Moving on to consideration of following final plats and final replats. Item 10A is the final consideration of the plat of La Bota subdivision, Hines Addition, the intent is residential. The proposed action is approval.
applicant is Khalid Group Ltd. Oh, okay. The engineer is PU Consulting. Proposed use is residential, and the zoning for this 58 lot development is R1 single family residential. Location view, the aerial view, the proposed plat, and the proposed motion.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Can I have a motion?
We have a motion to approve.
You have a motion? Second by Commissioner Belmontes, all in favor? Against, motion carries. Item 10B is final consideration of Playa Loma Veranos subdivision. The intent is residential. Proposed action is approval.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. The applicant is the Summers Family Partnership. The engineer is Boras Nance Engineering. The proposed use is residential for the zoning of the 87 lot development is R1 single family residential. The location view, the aerial view, the proposed plat, and the proposed motion.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Motion to approve.
Second. We have a motion and second by Commissioner Garcia, all in favor? Aye. Against, motion carries. Moving on to discussion, possible action. Item 11A is discussion, possible action regarding the Planning and Zoning Commission subcommittee created for the purpose of reviewing and providing a recommendation on proposed amendments to the parkland dedication ordinance.
Hi, my name is Elizabeth Carrera. I'm the park planner at the City of Laredo Parks Department. So we've had 3 meetings with the subcommittee already. It was established on the 15th of August. We met again on the 28th of August, and then we met later in October on the 23rd. So we've met with the Parks Board and the Planning and Zoning Board. They were combined together to form a committee to give feedback on this, and we also had some feedback from some developers. And it was very informative and helpful, and right now we are currently formulating the new table of pricing. But I think coming from the previous number that we had per unit, we've come down from that, and it's gonna be better because it's gonna be appropriate for the size of the lot. And so that's the plan that we're coming up with right now. All right, any questions?
Who's on, well, I guess anybody on the subcommittee have questions? Or,
Who's on the subcommittee?
well, I know Commissioner Barron was on that.
Mike Barron.
Brought up the,
Commissioner Barron had requested this item be placed on the agenda.
What was this question?
I think he,
Just to put it on to decide what next steps were.
Right.
Check on the status, that sort of thing.
Yeah, we're gonna prepare the draft and then we're gonna submit it.
Okay. When do you estimate the draft would be coming back to the commission?
Perhaps either the next one or the one after that.
Okay.
Okay. Thank you so much.
thank you. So at this point, is there any action needed to be taken on this?
No.
Yes,
No question.
yes.
For the record, my name is Jesus Ruiz. I just have a question. Is there going to be another meeting of the subcommittee before the draft? Because I went to a couple of them and there was really no...
Ms. Carrera would be able to answer.
Oh, no.
If you can just come forward so they can catch your voice on the microphone for.
I'm just wondering if there's going to be another public subcommittee meeting before it comes to P&Z. That's my question.
Well, they're proposing to I guess, close the subcommittee and just let go of the responsibilities from each of the 2 groups. Again, if you want to call our office, you know, we can talk, we can have internal discussions. But we pretty much have a plan that I think will work for everybody. The only thing I know that people were concerned about the land because we're asking for a little bit more land, and all I have to say about that is that currently in Laredo, we actually provide 5 acres per 1,000 population. What we're currently asking for is 1 acre per 1,000 population, and 2.5 is somewhere in between what we already provide and what we currently ask for. So it's a compromise between what our actual services and a minimum amount that was proposed in 2008. Thank you.
Mr. Chairman,
Yes.
the only recommendation I have for the committee, and again, we don't have the members of the sub that are requesting the item, is that we at least have a public hearing here when the draft is presented, so that we can give the developers and the builders and all the others who may be stakeholders an opportunity to weigh in on that, and still allow us maybe to make some additional changes to the draft before it goes to council.
And also, if whatever packet or whatever's going to be presented can be presented at least a week prior, so they can have at least,
Yeah, if it comes back, it would be placed within our packet, which we typically put out a week in advance.
okay.
And the last question was for staff. That committee has been meeting in concert or collaboration with the Parks Committee, is that correct?
Yes. I think what they proposed was to just close the subcommittee and then just bring it back to planning and zoning and move forward here. Thank you.
Fair enough. Thank you.
Thank you.
Fair enough.
Before we move to adjournment, are there any director's comments?
Not today.
Then, can I have a motion to adjourn?
So move it, Strip.
Motion and second by Commissioner Portillo, all in favor? Aye. Against, motion carries, we've adjourned.